Good morning. Welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. I'm so glad you're with me today, and I'm going to make a cake that's a recipe of a dear friend who lives not too far from me, but her daughter gave me this recipe. This is one of Pam Baker's chocolate cake recipes. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get my dry ingredients ready. And the recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar and there's 1 and there's 2 and 2 cups of plain flour. And what I want to do with my flour is I'm going to sift it. So, I'm going to make sure that I have my flour level. So here's 1 cup. And you know, if you sift your flour, it just makes it lighter. And then my other cup of plain flour. And we'll sift this in. And the other dry ingredient is going to be a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to put that in with the other dry ingredients. And then I'm just going to kind of whisk them together. And we'll be ready for these ingredients when I add some of the wet ones to it. So I'm just going to put it to the side. And I'm going to move and let me put these out of my way. 1 cup of water in a boiler. 1/2 cup of shortening, and I buy the shortening in the sticks. Alright, then I'm going to put a stick of butter. Last thing is going to be 4 tablespoons of cocoa. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that was a cup of water, 1/2 cup of shortening, a stick of butter, and 4 tablespoons of cocoa. Now I'm going to go to my stove eye. And I'm going to just bring this to a boil. When this comes to a boil, we'll add it to our dry ingredients so far. The unique thing about this cake is you don't use a mixer. You know how easy it would be to use a hand mixer? Well, she specifically said, mix this with a spoon. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to mix it with a spoon. Now, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to mix 2 eggs, there's 1, and that's 2, and I'm going to put 1/2 cup of buttermilk. And I'm going to put a teaspoon of baking soda. Now this was 2 eggs, 1/2 cup of buttermilk, and a teaspoon of soda. And I'm just going to whisk this together to have it ready to add to the other ingredients shortly. Alright, remember that I already have my flour, sugar, and salt right here. So yes, Harold, will you bring that over?
Pour it in there.
And pour it in here. We got both of us in here today. Isn't that great? Just pour it in there. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to mix this with a spoon. You know, you think, oh, that'd be so much easier if we could use a mixer. But it says don't use a mixer. Now, we're going to, after I've whisked this, now I'm going to add this buttermilk, egg, and baking soda to it. Okay. And then I have preheated my oven to 400. Gotta get it good. I still see some eggs floating around in there. Okay. The recipe calls for an 8 by 11 dish, and that's my 8 by 11. And what I'm going to do is pour this in here. And I have preheated my oven to 400, and I'm going to bake it for 20 minutes. Okay, our cake is out of the oven. And Harold, if you want to bring that over here, what we did, we mixed 1 stick of butter and 4 tablespoons of cocoa, 6 tablespoons of milk, and brought it to a boil. Now, if you'll stir that, that's confectioner's sugar that we're mixing in. Gonna put a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm gonna add, this equals to a box of confectioner's sugar. I'm gonna add 1 cup of chopped pecans. Now this cake is hot. We just took it out. Okay, can you go ahead and put it on there, and I'm going to spread it because you want to put it on when it's hot and it'll spread. Get it with this spatula. It's so much easier to get out with a spatula. Okay, woo, woo. Just about got it over the edge of that one. But, oh my goodness. You know, I really do think the recipe calls for an 8 by 11 pan. But I really think a 9 by 13 would be fine. It wouldn't be as thick. But I had to cook this longer than the 20 minutes too. And you would see, according to your oven, when I checked it, it was not done. And so that's what I would do, is I would check it. But I think what I would recommend that you do is cook that in a 9 by 13 pan. It's very hot, but I'm going to see if I can pick it up so you can see it. And that frosting, it's already, you can already tell it's looking glazed, so it'll be real sugary like, and you'll be able to cut those into pieces. Y'all, this is, you know, we get recipes from friends that are delicious, and Pam Baker is a wonderful cook. So when Lisa gave me her recipe, I knew without even trying it that it was going to be really good. The only change I would make is put it in a 9x13 pan. But anyway, God is so good. He's so good to me. He's so good to you. If you'll just take the time to spend some time with him, talk to him. He already knows how you feel, so you might as well tell him. And just know he's with you. He wants you to be salt and light. Matthew 5:13 through 16, read that and you'll know what it says. But I'll be back soon, and please share my page, comment, and then each time I put a video, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll be sure to see it. Thank you, and I'll be back soon.